Broadcasting from the Keep Moving Forward Creator Studios, it's time for the Athletes of the Titan Games podcast. This limited release show features the stories of the 2019 contestants of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's athletic competition, NBC's The Titan Games. Now here's your host, Katie Galley.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Athletes of the Titan Games podcast. I'm your host, Katie Galley. In the Keep Moving Forward Creator Studio with me today, I have Titan Games athlete and teacher, Gina Marie Policastro. How are you doing, Gina Marie?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you so much for stopping by and, taking the time to share your story with us.
Thanks. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, so just to kick things off and get the ball rolling, I wonder, where did you grow up and how, if at all, was your childhood shaped by athletics?
So I am born and raised from Queens, New York, and I did grow up doing some sports. My parents put me in gymnastics when I was a kid, so I continued that, pretty much through high school, and then I would get into cheerleading also as like an outlet to also still do gymnastics. So I was always pretty athletic, and my parents had put me in that because I was always super energetic, and they were trying to bring that down.
Trying to control it, keep it under wraps.
Exactly, yeah.
So with, that kind of getting into gymnastics and cheerleading and harnessing that energy into an organized sport, did you develop sort of a real aptitude for any particular sport? And did you do it all your childhood? Did you have aspirations to go and play in high school and in college? Or was it really just with gymnastics and cheerleading and other sports, just kind of an outlet for you at a young age?
I would say primarily it was an outlet for me. I do remember at some point in time, there used to be this thing on TV called Miss Fitness America, and it used to be on like ESPN, and I would see it, and it was basically like Miss America, but everyone's talent portion was a fitness routine.
Oh.
And I remember seeing that as a kid and being like, oh, I really want to do that. But it wasn't until much later in life that I actually acted upon it. So yeah.
So when you did see that, and it kind of ignited that within you, that you thought you might want to do that later in life, what shape did that take? Did you start getting into weightlifting, bodybuilding, powerlifting?
So a series of events would happen before I would actually go into fitness. When I was in college, I ended up getting married pretty early, and it ended up being a very emotionally and somewhat physically abusive relationship. And at that point, I wasn't training at all. Prior to him, I was training. And when I got into this relationship and marriage, then when things went really bad, I wasn't allowed to do those kind of things. I wasn't allowed to go to the gym. I wasn't allowed to train. He was very controlling. So I kind of lost myself for a while. And when I finally made the move to get divorced, the first thing I did when it was finalized was say to myself, okay, what's one thing that you always wanted to do? And the first thing that popped into my head was fitness competitions. And so that's when I literally Googled, bodybuilding gym on Long Island. And I came across Bev Francis Powerhouse Gym. And I walked in and said to the guy at the front desk, I want to compete. And so he actually set me up with a phenomenal woman that was there, Angelica, and she got me into my first competition within 3 months after that.
Man, that is really incredible and a true testament to utilizing obstacles and true hardships in your life to shape you and to move you forward rather than, staying stagnant in those times, realizing, okay, well, what is one thing I'm going to do to pull myself out of this? What is one thing I'm going to do that I've always wanted to do? And so you just decided, all right, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to find these fitness competitions. I'm going to find one and I'm going to go after it.
Yes, absolutely.
So when you walked into that gym and just said, "Okay, I want to compete. I want to do fitness," and you were introduced to your coach Angelica, then what was that? How did that journey begin? And I mean, what shape did it ultimately take? Did you begin training for one competition in particular? Was it just overall learning about weightlifting? And I mean, what did that journey look like?
So for me, that journey was pretty quick because I did have a background in training on my own for some period of time.
Right.
But she really introduced to me the other portions of it. So this was for a bodybuilding, if you will, competition in like the figure category. And so the dieting that goes along with it, or the posing that goes with it. And so that all happened pretty quick. And the first one that I did was like a local like qualifier that would get me to one of the more bigger events later on that year. And I had done bodybuilding, I would say, for about, I think it was 3 years or so.
Okay.
But eventually then I moved from that into CrossFit. And then that's where my fitness like really took off.
Wow. So when you did find CrossFit and you say your fitness took off, how did it do so? Did you start to compete in CrossFit as well?
Yeah, so I actually found CrossFit, or decided to switch to CrossFit, because to be honest, I just couldn't do the dieting that went along with bodybuilding.
Yeah.
I give all those people credit. They have a type of discipline that wasn't working for me. I actually, at one point, because the dieting is so intense, I developed an eating disorder from it.
Wow.
And so I realized that what I was doing to myself was now more harmful than helpful. And I gave myself an ultimatum, and I said, okay, like if I can't kick this habit on my own, then I've got to quit. And so I did. I left bodybuilding because I couldn't. I didn't like what I see. My body image was skewed. I was really unhappy. So the thing that used to make me happy now wasn't. And so someone had suggested to me, they're like, why don't you try CrossFit? You know, it has gymnastics in it. You know, you might really like it. And so I did. I tried it and like loved it immediately. And I actually started CrossFit as a way to lose weight initially, because after one of my last bodybuilding competitions, I like sprung up in weight big time. And I wasn't happy with what I saw. So my initial reason for going to CrossFit was, this looks fun, and I also want to get myself back to like a healthier state. It just so happened that I ended up being really good at it really fast. And so that was super exciting. And I found the place that I was originally at, they told me to go to CrossFit Garden City to get coaching from Dennis Marshall, who's phenomenal. And he's literally so much of the reason why I am the athlete that I am today, because of his guidance, and like really took me into his program and shaped me to be like badass real fast.
Yeah. Oh man, that's I mean that is so cool, and the fact it seems it's a running theme throughout your journey. When you find something you want to try, you develop this immediate aptitude for it. You're just good at it. But I think with anything, too, it's easy to get, you go all in and you focus all in on it, but it can also, you can fall into the bad parts of it. So developing an eating disorder with something as incredible as a bodybuilding competition, or trying to taking things to the next level, just because it's so mentally straining. It's just being involved in that arena, and it's just getting caught up in it. But then also developing, okay, you recognize that there is something amiss, and so okay, you want to find this new sport, and then CrossFit falling into your lap and you discovering this new sport that again you developed this immediate aptitude for.
Yeah, and the one thing, like the key thing for me, it's always been, you know, physically I can you know, train and handle sports. It's the mental part that I'm still really, really working on developing.
Yeah. And that's so, it's equally as important, if not even more important, the mental side of it. And that's the more difficult side to tame, to master, because physically you can push your body and lift different weights, do whatever you tell it to. But mentally it's, can you stay in it, and how do you overcome those different obstacles? And for you, I know too, drawing on your life experiences and the things that you have overcome, that has to really help you in that mental aspect, even though, you're continuing to grow and finding yourself in that mental space. Using those experiences that you've had have clearly shaped you and helped, make you that stronger mental athlete, as is, characteristic of you recognizing something might be wrong, and so deciding to do something about it and being intentional in that area.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely, I don't doubt for a minute that, me wanting to be as strong as I am physically,
Yeah.
Draws on my, experiences with my, ex-husband, that whole mess. So just like being stronger than that. But the mental part that's still a work in progress.
Yeah. And absolutely. I think with any athlete in any area, that always is a work in progress. And so when you found CrossFit, and it started off as this, weight loss journey, wanting to get healthy again. Did you start, and again, developing this aptitude, learning that you're quite good at this newfound sport. When you did start to find it, and really find this passion and love for it, did it stay then as this fitness and weight loss journey, or did it grow into something more, into wanting to try and compete as a team, on a team, or as an individual?
Yeah, so it took off, and I went full throttle. I actually, so after my first, I would say like 6 months of CrossFit, I really took an interest to it and was pretty damn good at it. So I thought about, I'm like, okay, well, I'm young, and you kind of, for lack of a better term, right? You only live once.
Yeah.
Like what is, I'm like, what is something that I can do to see where I really go with this? And so that next September, because I started CrossFit, let's say in like January of 2016, that in September, I actually did resign from teaching, and I took a full year off, and my goal was just, let's train full time and let's see where I can go. And so many awesome things came from that. Like, yes, I developed as an athlete. I was able, to compete at regionals, just training full time in general, like doing the thing that I like really love to do day in and day out, with a phenomenal coach and a phenomenal group of people supporting me, was such an amazing feeling. But also, it was challenging because I didn't have a job. I didn't have an income. And so learning how to live on like $1.
Wow.
And that has like really significantly taught me how much money I was spending like frivolously, because, now that I am back to working, I still live like I was before. And like, you realize how silly it is, the things that you end up spending your money on that you really don't need.
That's a really, that's an interesting perspective, and of all, going all in on this athletic journey, but learning something that you didn't anticipate learning, and having that be such a big part of your life now, learning how to, live frugally and spend on the things that, you only need spending upon, because it's, if you have these goals, you're driven by this one thing, you wanted to see where your CrossFit journey could go. Okay, if that is the true aim, that's the true goal, then everything I do, every decision I make has to be in pursuit of that. And so realizing it even boils down to your finances, the little things in life, the daily decisions that you make. That's really that's very interesting. It's a poignant point, because it really puts in perspective when you have those far-reaching goals, those deep passions on your heart, it does transcend every area of your life.
Yes. Yeah. I did have a small source of income at that time. So a good friend of mine, Sadiq Hadzovic, he's a phenomenal athlete in a different arena. And so I would help him with, what he needed help with, if it was like merchandise that he was selling on his website, or, just helping him at photo shoots, video shoots, like, so it was like a small source of income, and literally I would use that it was grocery shop and like my regular bills, like gas for my car, cell phone, like just the bare minimum, and anything else just wasn't happening.
Yeah, man. But again, I mean, just learning all of the different areas and the things that go into that. That is really cool. No matter how, how much income that you're making at that time. But too, I wonder. So you were a teacher, and then you took it that year off to really pursue your CrossFit dreams, and then you ended up going back into teaching after that. So,
Yeah.
where did that desire come from to become a teacher?
So I've been asked that question a lot, and to become a teacher. To be honest, I think it's something that I won't say I completely thought of on my own. Like growing up, I always really liked school. I liked going to school, but I was also very active in school, like doing sports or clubs, friends. So to me, I always liked the environment. My mom, growing up, always wanted to be a teacher. So I think that probably had some influence on why I ended up in that path. So I'm not sure I completely thought of it all on my own. But I did wind up here, and
Yeah.
I do enjoy it. And taking the year off definitely felt strange. When I took the year off, a bunch of students at that time, I was telling them that I was leaving. They sent me cards, wrote me letters, like wishing me good luck, on the things that I was about to do. And even now, I still keep in touch with some of those students via social media, and they see that I earned a spot on the Titan Games.
Yeah.
And like the messages that have come from those students, and even the students that I have now, I mean, it's beyond what I ever thought. You don't realize your reach sometimes. I think I'm just going to work most days, but you don't realize the influence that you have on people that you see every day, that you talk to every day, like just being kind. Like you might have been maybe the one nice thing that they had that day, right? Because you complimented them or you said, hi, good morning. And those things go a long way.
Yeah. Oh man, I love that. It's true. You really never know who's listening to you, who's watching you. And I mean, having that impact on people, like you're saying, days you think, oh, I'm just going to work today, but really you're impacting the lives of so many people who are just observing the way that you live life. And two, I mean, going back to how your mom kind of encouraged you unknowingly at the time to go into this profession, it was something that you hadn't really thought about, but again, having someone in your life who encouraged you in a direction that maybe you didn't at the time, didn't realize you were being encouraged into, and now you get to do that for all of the students that you touch, all of the students that you see on any given basis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. It's so cool. And I mean, having, that role as a teacher, a leader, a coach, whatever it might be. And so in that year span, then when you took off that time from teaching, and your students now congratulate you on, going to the Titan Games, how did that become a part of your journey? How did you find out about the Titan Games, and ultimately become a contestant?
So I actually found out about the Titan Games. Someone that I had met once at a strength seminar when I was in Texas. I was visiting for something, a fitness-related seminar. And I met this person once, and then like months later, they sent me a message on Instagram like, hey, like I heard of this show, thought you'd be really cool for it. And so I like clicked on the link. I was like, oh, this looks, really interesting. And I thought about applying. My biggest, I would say, character flaw is my belief in myself. So, the whole time that I started filling out the application, I'm like, oh, like, yeah, I'll try this, but, I'm probably not going to get it because I don't know why, but I have a hard time believing in myself, and my confidence in myself is not always there. But I started the application. But what ended up happening is I tore my UCL, which is a ligament in your elbow, right after the CrossFit Open, and was unable to compete at regionals that year. And so I was super upset. I just mentally was going through a lot because of that injury, and I just stopped filling out the application. I would say about like 2 months later, I got a phone call from one of the producers, and they said, "Hey, we saw you started an application, and we looked at your stuff, and we think that you'd be a great fit. Are you still interested?" So I explained to them, like, "Hell yeah, I'm definitely interested. This is the reason why I didn't finish it." And I told them about the injury. And when they explained to me the timeline, I realized that I did have a chance, because this would heal by the time I needed to be, ready to go. And it just took off from there. So I'm super thankful and grateful that, they didn't overlook my half completed application, and that they, took a chance just by like Googling or looking at my social media, and saying like, okay, like she could be a contender, and giving me that chance.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of crazy, but it's incredible how, I mean, the timing of it all, and going after this. So, when you started that application, and, then being contacted by the producers to just, keep going, try and see if you could finish that application to continue the process. But, saying your biggest character flaw is the lack of belief in yourself at times. And I know that's, something a lot of people, specifically athletes, face, because it doesn't matter how prepared you are, how you feel. There's those days where you lack that belief, you lack that confidence. And so when you saw this, and you saw that this was, it piqued your interest, the Titan Games, being a contestant on it, what made you decide, okay, this is a goal I'm going after, this is a new challenge I want? You were pursuing this CrossFit dream very hard, and then you had this new thing pop up. So what really made you decide, okay, this is a new goal, I want to see if I can do it?
So I would say, being completely honest,
Yeah.
that I was terrified all before, during, and after.
Yeah.
And it's because, for me, I realize that in life, if something makes you this uncomfortable, it's worth doing.
Yes.
And that I was so uncomfortable. I mean, everything leading up to it, like just having to talk about my past, or, knowing myself that I know I'm going to go into this thinking I'm not good enough, or, and having to battle myself. I knew that was going to be difficult. And for me, taking on the Titan Games was something that I was seeking to do for my own personal growth reasons.
Yeah.
And because I am really trying to become stronger in that one part of my life that I feel I haven't achieved that in yet. And that's, feeling good about myself, being kind to myself, and just, believing in myself as much as that, I believe in other people.
My gosh, I really love that so much. If it's something that makes you uncomfortable, it's worth doing. And that's so true, because that's when you're going to reach those breakthroughs. And then also too, I love you recognizing the things in yourself that you want to improve upon, you want to be better at. And so intentionally putting yourself in situations that are going to force you to grow, that are going to force those things out of you and make you be better in those areas. And I think that's just so key in life, because you want to focus on the things, those things that maybe you struggle with, and you want to push them to the back burner. You don't want to think about them. You don't want to focus on them. So you focus on your strengths only, but that's not going to develop you wholly as a person.
Yeah, it is hard. And I mean,
yeah.
Like, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it right now. Oh my God, this is so dumb. Like, I'm going to start crying. It's so stupid.
No, it's
I'm
not.
like over sitting in an office by myself, like getting upset. But, yeah, I'm a crier. So
That's fine.
But yeah, it's been really challenging. And there has been a lot of tears, but I have so many good people in my corner. My coach has always, pushed me to do those things that make me uncomfortable. So I do owe him a lot, because I don't know if I would have ever gone for the things that I, went for if not for someone pushing me. I always say that he was my motivator. He motivated me when I couldn't find that for myself. And something that he always told me was, Gina, just go for it, because you just might surprise yourself. And honestly, each and every time that I did, I honestly surprised myself. And it's just about, putting yourself out there, giving yourself that chance, and just coming out the other side regardless of the outcome. Like if you go for it and you try, like that's more than most.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. I absolutely agree. And just coming to that realization and kind of internalizing that and holding to that truth on the days where it is hard, where it is a struggle to keep pushing yourself and keep going, but holding on to those affirmations and knowing the people who are on your corner, like your coach, who support you and rally behind you on those days. Those are the people that just instill that truth and help you to remember why you started and why you have to keep going.
Right.
Man,
yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. And so, I mean, I know you've had so much experience just all across your life, but specifically with your experience as a contestant now on the Titan Games, I wonder, what would you say that your definition of a Titan is, and how do you believe now that this specific experience on the Titan Games will carry over into the rest of your life?
So to me, a Titan is, I think all of us would agree that we are, regular people that just happen to be phenomenal athletes in whatever aspects of life that is, but that have found that strength because they've overcome obstacles. One of, I think, the coolest things about being on the Titan Games was meeting people from so many different walks of life, hearing their stories and how they got to this point, right? It's like we're all sharing our stories here with you, which is amazing, right? That we all came from so many different backgrounds, and not just sports, but what led us into fitness. And then that brought us all together. And really nowhere else in life will you have an opportunity to meet so many different people that are like-minded, but that also have come from so many different walks of life. So I'm super thankful for that opportunity. And in terms of, takeaways for me, I mean, the second that I got home, I instantly felt different, because I struggled a lot with, my mental game, my confidence. Again, I struggled a lot, but I came out on the other side, where I wanted to quit and I wanted to give up and I didn't. That to me, I experienced so much growth from being on the Titan Games that, when people ask me when I got home, how was it? I honestly could say, and very truthfully, that it was easily one of the best experiences of my entire life. And I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah. I mean, it really is incredible, and that you can draw on that and know just something that you can rest in, and no matter how much time passes, you can remember back to this and how you felt and how that experience just helps shape you and continues to propel you forward. But I love it too, how it's not just the Titan aspect is not just the physical fitness or the mental fitness part of it. It's how all of the things that you have, regardless of that, you have all that in common, the athlete within you. But what it is it transcends no matter what career path you're on, whatever other things you do in your life, that's that common piece. It's that physical fitness, of course, but it's that mental piece. It's that strength that you all share, because it carries over into literally every other area, whether you're a doctor, a teacher, a firefighter, a police officer, whatever it is. It's just across all professions, all areas of life, no matter where you've come from. I love that what you said is just that every one of you has overcome obstacles and defeated insurmountable odds to get to where you are, and that's what binds you. That's what ties you together.
Yeah, I love how you just phrased that. Absolutely.
Yeah, it really is amazing, and it's so cool. I love this, and I love the opportunity to actually, dive in and talk to you all and share these incredible stories. And so with this truly incredible journey that you've led, and you've accomplished so much, and knowing that you still have so much left, and you're going to, continue to kill it and set these goals and achieve them and propel forward in your life. I just have one final question that I ask all of my interviewees. what do you want to be remembered for?
Someone that, struggles similarly to everybody else and, puts himself out there and comes through on the other side. I think that's most important, when they were asking us, what makes us a Titan. I think for me, that was that I'm a regular everyday person. And I think it's important for people that are watching the Titan games to almost see us like that, anyone can do the things that we're doing if you just have the discipline and you want it bad enough.
That is awesome. And it is true. It's very easy to overlook that you see somebody on television and the incredible feats of strength. In the first 2 episodes alone watching this show, it's crazy the fitness that's required. But you're right. It's very easy to overlook the fact that it's people who work everyday jobs as quote regular person. It's a person who just decides they want to be better every single day, and so they do whatever it takes. They still work jobs. They still are students. They do all of the things that everybody else does, but they are stellar people because they just decide to be better in all different areas of their life, and they put themselves in those. If you guys put yourselves in those situations where you can just push yourselves to these crazy limits. And I really do love that aspect of the show so much.
Yeah, there's always something to work on ourselves, and I think it's important just to, get comfortable being uncomfortable, like allow those things that make you uncomfortable to happen and just take them as they come.
Thank you all for tuning in to today's installment of the Athletes of the Titan Games podcast. To learn more about each of these Titan athletes, be sure to check out their information in the links in my show notes. Furthermore, to stay up to date on all things coming out of the Keep Moving Forward Creators Studio, be sure to subscribe to the Keep Moving Forward podcast iTunes channel and follow along on social media, also available in the show notes. As the creator of the Titan Games, Mr. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson says, "Titans aren't born, they're made." And I hope today's story helped you realize all that you are capable of becoming if you put in that hard work and just keep moving forward.